The story is posted on cheating marriage subreddit by user Massimage. This broke me, but my wife had some glue. First off, I just want to say that things eventually worked out for me. I have a super amazing wife now. Things can definitely get better if you let them. The entire reason for this post is to get old, bad feelings out of my life. My wife suggested a long time ago that I write a letter to this girl and burn it, but I thought that making a post here might help some of you all get through some tough times, or at least let you know that things can still work out. You are not completely broken because someone lied to you. You have to get up, dust off, and give someone else a chance. I know it's hard to trust again, but it will come if you open your heart to the right person. It's a leap of faith, that's why it's called jumping in. When I was 17M, I was really into playing music. I had a little bit of talent on the guitar and was starting to reach out to other people in hopes of having somebody to jam with. I'm from a small town in East Kentucky. Pretty much everyone else in my town just rode around on ATVs and went to chicken fights. I didn't have much luck finding a like-minded musician until my mother showed me our local paper. For the sake of anonymity, I'm not going to give specific details here, but the front page of the paper had a big picture of a girl holding an old double-cut Les Paul on the stage with a very popular country singer. Mom told me that this girl, let's call her Lisa 17F, was from the next county over and that I should try and get in contact with her. She said that I might be able to make a great friend, music connection, or even have a relationship with this girl. So I set off to MySpace, found her profile, added her on Yahoo, and struck up a chat with her. She surprisingly responded pretty quick and started talking about her favorite guitar, songs to play, stuff like that. She was definitely a tomboy, but to me she seemed sweet and innocent. She was built well, but didn't show it very much in any of her online pictures. She always wore baggy, unflattering t-shirts and jeans. I'm not a very vain person, so this didn't bother me, but it was obvious that she didn't want to be noticed for her femininity. After talking online for about 2 weeks, we decided to make a day to hang out. We met in her town outside of a local shopping center. I remember when I first saw her, I didn't think she was attractive, but she was appealing in a way that I couldn't put my finger on. I was a broke teenager, so we decided to just ride around and chill. We sat down in her car and hit the road. She showed me all the neat places in her town and even where she lived at. We stopped at a music shop, showed each other some cool licks, and then she said she could get us into the movies for free, so we went and sat down to watch some cheesy movie. During the film, she kept inching her hand closer to me, and eventually I took the hint and held hers. I realized at that point that I wanted to be more than just a buddy, and after the film, I went for it. From there, we pretty much spent all our free time either talking or hanging out. In my mind, we had an amazing relationship. I am from a really reserved, religious family. I was sheltered and didn't know much, so Lisa is the person that showed me the world and how it really works. She's the first one that showed me places that weren't malls or churches. We did a lot of traveling, and I learned a lot about life from her. Fast forward a couple years, Lisa and I were in our routines. She was obviously a better musician than I would ever be, and she was studying folk music and theory at a specialized school. I was doing a construction job, and I had all but laid my guitar down. Music was no longer a topic for us, and she was starting to get cold and standoffish with me about my job and my old friends. She hated that I wasn't going into some type of office job. She resented me for dropping out of my community college, and she didn't mind to tell me what a loser I was when her friends were around. I looked past it, though. I figured that her schooling was stressful, and a little of her local fame caused her to push herself, and in turn, me. Around this time, she started talking about a new female friend, which was weird for her as all of her old friends were guys. This friend, Alice, was a musician as well. She played piano and she was quite good. Lisa and Alice started talking a whole lot over a few months and decided to get together and play some music. Honestly, I felt like I couldn't keep up with them musically, so I didn't impose on their jam. Lisa told me when she was heading to Alice's house, and I told her to have fun. After midnight, I texted to check up on her, but got no reply. She called me about an hour later and said their jam had lasted way too long. She was tired and just gonna crash on Alice's couch. I didn't think much of it. The next day after work, I stopped in at Lisa's house and walked into her bedroom. She was curled up into a ball on her bed. I asked her what was wrong, and she just showed me her iPhone 4. There were more than 100 unread notifications from Alice. I asked what happened, and Lisa told me that Alice was crazy and she wouldn't leave her alone. She didn't want to get into any more detail than that. I was a stupid, hopeless romantic, and I never even considered the idea of her cheating on me with Alice, so I just let it go. After that happened, Lisa got even colder with me. Everything I did was wrong. Nothing I did could please her. All the flowers and love notes I gave her just wound up in the trash. Never even an I love you in return. At the time, I was working 2 weeks at a time out on the road and had every other weekend off. If I tried to initiate intimacy during the days I was home, she would shut me down, call me a perv, and say that she just wanted a more adult relationship with me. We went months without touching. One day at work, my coworker, who was driving us to the next job, started thinking he was Brian O'Connor and tried to drive our work truck under a tractor trailer. Turns out he was doing some pills among other things. Luckily, everyone was okay, but my boss wouldn't fire the guy. And after a heated meeting, I decided to quit. I didn't want to die on the road because my coworkers were crackheads. When I got home and told Lisa, she hit the ceiling with anger. She went right into calling me a loser and a failure. I just got up and left. After she cooled down, she called and apologized. I was hurt, but I accepted and tried to move on. I thought that a big, beautiful gesture of some sort would set things straight and get her back to her old self, and our lives would be how I wanted them to. So I decided to propose. Real smart, right? Without telling Lisa, I took some pictures of my old project car, I'm a car guy, and posted them on a few websites to sell. It only took a few days, and I wound up with about $3,500. As soon as I had the cash in my hand, I went to a big jewelry store in a city about 2 hours away from us, and I bought the exact ring that she'd always wanted. I hauled ass back to her place and told her to get packed. We were gonna go right back to that city and stay in a nice room there for a couple days. She looked surprised and said, "Okay, just go grab my laptop out of my car." And I did. I walked out to her car, pulled open the door, and stuck my head in the back seat where her laptop case was. I remember seeing something blue sticking out slightly from under the case. When I lifted the case up, I saw a dirty pair of panties that I bought for her. Just below them on the floorboard, there was a used condom. So I just stood up, dropped her laptop, went back to the city without her, returned the ring, and went all the way back home to crash at my friend's house. I cut contact with her for a few days until I had enough nerve to just call her and end things. When I called her, I just said it was over and not to contact me again. The worst part is that she listened to me, never heard her voice again. I expected some closure or explanation, but I guess she never felt like she owed me one. I was absolutely shattered. I spent years alone, wallowing in my own self-pity, tried drinking myself to death. I hated myself, women, and everyone else too. I put my entire life on hold. But then I met my wife. She picked me up, showed me what love really is, and taught me how to forgive and trust again. I'm hoping that some of you read this and don't let these feelings define you. Bad things happen, but I'm living proof that good things happen too. I could go on about any part of this for weeks. I'm leaving out many details. Most of it isn't worth reliving. I should be able to answer most questions that you all have though. As for Lisa, I don't look into anything about her life. I assume that she's figured out who she really is, but she's not been my problem for a long time now. I don't really hate her anymore, but I definitely don't want anything to do with her. Firstly, major kudos to the OP for pulling through and finding a supportive partner. Life dealt him a tough hand with an unfaithful ex, but he decided to rise above it. Now, the advice about letting go of old scars and moving forward. As for Lisa, the ex who caused all the pain, well, let's just say she's not on the OP's radar anymore. Sometimes closure doesn't come in the way we expect, and that's okay. The big takeaway here is resilience. It's a reminder that even when things seem unbearable, time has a way of healing wounds. So if you're out there dealing with heartbreak, maybe take a leap of faith and open your heart to new possibilities. After all, life's too short to be stuck in the past. And to the OP, thanks for sharing your story. It's proof that even after the darkest nights, there can be a dawn. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy our stories, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more stories. User Party Appointment 71 said, "I can relate to your story, especially with dumb part, and I'm happy to find someone with a glue." User What Happened Monday said, "Nice to have a happy ending on this sub finally. Good on you and your glue." User OK Paleontologist 755 said, "Good for you, my guy. Seems like a happy ending, and you seem like you deserve it. The story ended in a happy ending. Good for you, OP." Now let's move on to the next story. This next story is submitted on Cheating Stories subreddit, posted by user Cryptographer, Naive55. Should I stay or should I go? Found out my husband decided to get back in touch with his fuck buddy within 3 months of marrying me. Okay, so we met when I was 44 and he was 51. Both had been previously married and through multiple failed relationships for different reasons. As we started dating and getting to know one another, we discussed things from our past, mistakes we'd made or things that had happened to us that were painful. Both of us have been cheated on, multiple times. He told me the cheating had hurt him a lot. I thought we were both in a place where we just wanted to find something simple, true, and honest. No drama, no high-maintenance bees. I'm very laid back. I don't play mind games or any of that mess. I don't need to test a guy or any of that shit either. With me, what you see is what you get. All I want is to be treated the way I treat you. I know I'm a hot mess and a pain in the ass sometimes. I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm honest. We never had one argument in 5 years. Maybe a little disagreement here or there, but never harsh words or actual anger. We have fun together. We were buddies, best friends, as well as lovers. I thought. I do all of the cooking and cleaning, all of the shopping for the home. The man never had to think about buying a stick of deodorant or anything else once he met me, because I just do it all. Not for gold stars or anything, just because I like to take care of the people I love. He does pay the majority of the house bills. I also work full-time and contribute financially. He insisted we get married. I even tried to say no. I never wanted to push him into anything he didn't want. I should also note that we had a very good, fun, and satisfying intercourse life. Well, I thought we did. As our first year of marriage progressed, he became more and more distant, completely avoiding any hangout time with me, strangely grumpy or even mean, angry toward me at times, and I'd be completely confused about why. He barely looked up from his phone when we went to dinner for our first anniversary. Then 2 months after that anniversary, I caught them on his phone. He asked for a pic. She hunched over her desk at work, pulled her pants to her knees and sent him a pic looking like a dog taking a shit. And he went nuts talking about how much he loves fucking that pussy. They started being fuck buddies 20 years ago. She was even already married then, still married to the same poor guy now. My husband had reached out to her a couple months after our anniversary, initially supposedly, to ask an innocent business question. But then I guess after the business question, it was just natural to send a dick pic. A couple months later, they started carrying on an affair which lasted for 6 months before I caught them. He only stopped sleeping with her because I caught them. They were making plans to go on trips together, make videos together, all kinds of fun stuff. He loved pictures of her, flat ass and gross saggy tits, no eyebrows, dead flat eyes. Not to sound arrogant, but this dumpster whore is fugly. I'm not saying I'm God's gift, but she's not attractive. She's also known to be rude, hateful, and just a mean bitch. I am about years older than her, but I still have a very nice ass and big nice tits if I do say so myself. But he has never liked pics of me. He never likes to talk dirty with me, like I saw he likes to do with her. Anytime I've tried to be creative or spontaneous, he acts weird and uncomfortable. He also loves his filth videos. Show him Becky shoving something up her ass and he's rock hard, baby. But he doesn't want me to be any of those things. He has never wanted to do oral intercourse with me, wants her to come on his face. He just kinda wants to lick it, his fingers that is, and stick it, in the dark, hump me till he's done. Yeah, baby. Was that good for you? He said the reason he liked her is because she would spread her legs but keep her mouth shut. He didn't have to be seen in public with her, but she'd meet him at a random parking lot and bend over right there up against his truck, or a random dumpster, and then just go on with her day. He now says it wasn't worth it, won't happen again. He wants to be married to me, but he doesn't really want to talk about any of it. It happened again only because it made him feel like 20 years ago, when they first started whoring around together. It's also hilarious because I have seen how he talked to other people about the women who cheated on him in the past. He was horrified and called them terrible names, and couldn't believe someone would do that to him. And now, I'm just supposed to believe it's done and move on. He says, "But I love you. I never wanted to leave you." Except for the times he definitely wanted to leave me to go stick it in her up against the nearest dumpster. He said he thought he could just have some fun without me finding out and or getting hurt. When did I stop being fun? If I hadn't caught him, he would have been fine with doing that to me. I feel disgusting and I hate myself. I'm stuck by the fact that I've never loved anyone the way I love him. I feel numb. I wish I could just die, but I'm not the person to do that to myself. I love him and hate him at the same time. I wish I could get payback and go cheat on him, but I'm just not a dumpster whore. I don't know what to do. I really need a good therapist, but I can't afford one, lol. Now let's talk about the situation. This isn't just about infidelity. It's about your self-worth and well-being. You've been a rock in this relationship, doing all the cooking, cleaning, and being a supportive partner. It's clear you've put your heart into this, and discovering his affair is a betrayal of the highest order. Your husband's actions are unacceptable, and his excuses about wanting to relive the past are just that, excuses. You deserve someone who cherishes you, not someone who disrespects you behind your back. Consider this your wake-up call. If the options are staying in a toxic environment or divorce, well, it might be time to choose the latter. You have every right to voice your feelings. And to the husband, seriously? You claim it wasn't worth it, but your actions speak louder than words. If you genuinely want to salvage the marriage, it's going to take a lot more than a half-hearted apology. OP, don't let anyone make you feel less than what you're worth. Reach out for that therapy you mentioned. Your mental health is crucial. It's time to move on to our comments. User Obligation Winter 852 said, "Cheating with a frequent fling of the past? Just by the way he replied to the photos with desire would have made my stomach ache in disgust. You love him, but it's time to love yourself. Self-improvement is a viable option. I won't tell you to divorce just yet, but I definitely recommend self-care." User Muchfield 1984 said, "Have you thought about telling the other spouse what his wife is up to? I understand that you still have feelings for this man, but do you really think that you can overcome this betrayal? Will you trust him again? Be honest with yourself. Do you really want to stay? I get leaving is hard, but staying doesn't sound like much better or easier. You deserve better. Take the trash out, I say. User actual offer 127 said, she's 7 years younger than you, so that makes her 37 now. If their affair started 20 years ago, that would have made him 31 and her 17. Honestly, that alone would make me leave him. Personally, I'd send screenshots of the messages to her husband and leave his ass. Revenge cheating doesn't work. It just makes you as horrible of a person as he is. My guess is he's always been the cheater and his other partners found out and revenge cheated on him. No way was he the innocent party he makes himself out to be. Now let's have a mood booster story before ending the video. This story is posted in Malicious Compliance subreddit and is posted by user Rhonda the Honda. Stay in my lane? Okay, but it'll cost you. A few years ago, I was the primary faculty advisor and chair for admissions to a highly competitive health science program at a small public college. While that may sound impressive, it's basically a way of saying I was the lowest on the totem pole, but had all of the responsibility overseeing admissions for this program. In order to try and make the department even stronger, they added a new degree option to that health science program that largely overlapped with existing classes. In fact, the only change they had to make was to add one 8-credit-hour course to make the new degree option. Since I was so low on the totem pole, I had no part in the process for this, but as the lone advisor, I had to learn all of the ins and outs of it so I could advise students and potential applicants. Because of this, I found a problem where the new class was added to the course schedule and added to the college catalog, but it was not officially added to the new major. This would cause trouble for financial aid and, down the road, when they apply for graduation. It may seem like a small thing, but if it's not officially required for the major, financial aid won't pay for it. I pointed this out to my supervisor, who thanked me for catching it and asked me to inquire about how we correct this. So I sent an email to someone middle management who might be able to help, asking questions and proposing possible short-term solutions until the curriculum committee could meet to make the changes official. After the email, there was silence for a week. Therefore, I sent a follow-up email. The next morning, I received an email from one of the VPs, chewing me out for overstepping my bounds, trying to make changes I didn't have authority to make, and a reminder that they know how to do their jobs and that I was expected to stay in my lane. This email included my supervisor, multiple deans, 2 department heads, and another VP. Fine, I dropped it. I was already looking for other jobs and ended up leaving the following year. So what do I care? Fast forward 3 months. We were about 10 days away from this new class, starting with the first cohort of 10 students in this new degree, and I started getting phone calls and emails from all over the place. The problem I pointed out still hadn't been fixed. Now, the financial aid and registrar's offices are dealing with angry students who just found out each will have to pay for an 8-credit class out of pocket. Both departments were reaching out to me, asking for help to get this fixed before the VP found out about it. I just forwarded the email I received from the VP with a message that I was instructed to stay out of this, and that their bosses were aware that I was not to be involved. It's officially not my problem. And to anyone who might say I should have helped and not screwed over the students, you're right. Unfortunately, there is absolutely nothing I can do at that point. That's why I tried to address it months ago, when I could have helped. The proper way to make this happen involves making the proposed changes to a committee, then those changes would have to be approved by the executive board. For various reasons, this could not happen between then and the start of the class. So the VP contacted the state chancellor's office to see what kind of work around the state would approve to get this done now. However, the college was denied any exceptions. In the end, the college ended up having to swallow the cost of this course for all 10 students. I don't remember how much it was, but it was no less than $25,000. Thank you, community, for the advice. Our OP has been very thankful and appreciative with your comments in the comment section. As we finish this Reddit story, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing for more interesting Reddit tales. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I look forward to having you in the next video.